All right, absolute value equations. So when you have these bars, and these are the bars in the absolute value. We have things inside of it. Absolute value is the distance from 0. Okay? So it's the distance from 0. How far away from 0? So in that way, just like when we don't have negative measurements of length or distance, okay? I'm 6'3". I'm 6'3" if I stand on my head. Still the same height, just upside down. But I'm still 6'3". So I'm standing on my head doesn't make me negative 6'3". Okay? Same thing with distance. If I, let's say, live 7 miles from here, I don't drive 7 miles to work and then negative 7 miles home. I just still drive 7 miles both directions, right? Does that make sense? That make sense? Okay. So distance is just a positive number. Same thing with absolute value. It's a distance. That's what it is. How far are you from 0? Okay. So number of solutions. If you see absolute value and a positive number, okay, then you have 2 solutions. Okay? Because basically you're saying you have 7 miles this way and 7 miles that way. Okay? 2 different solutions. If the absolute value of x is equal to 0, there's only one solution. And if it's a negative, that's no solution. That's kind of like when we have a negative underneath the radical, and we say, oh, no real solution. Well, there's no solution because there's no such thing as negative 7 miles from home, or negative 6'3". I'm just 6'3". So if you see a problem, absolute value equals a negative number, you're done. You don't have to go any further because you can't do it. It doesn't exist. All right. So to solve absolute value equations, okay, first you're going to solve for the absolute value expression equals a number. In other words, you want to get this by itself. So treat it like a variable. Okay, you want to get the absolute value thing by itself. Now we'll talk about examples of that. Then you're going to write it as 2 separate equations. The expression equals the number and the negative number. So for example, x minus 3, the absolute value of x minus 3 equal to 2. We're going to take that x minus 3 and set it equal to 2. And we're going to set the x minus 3 equal to negative 2. And then you just solve. So if you add 3, x equals 5. And if you add 3, x equals 1. Now, again, we talked about this. Here's the beauty of math. You can plug this 5 in right here. What's 5 minus 3? 2. And what's the absolute value of 2? In other words, how far away is 2 from 0? 2. You can also plug the 1 in. What's 1 minus 3? What's 1 minus 3? Negative 2, right? Yes? Okay. How far away from 0 is negative 2? How many spaces? 2 spaces, right? Doesn't matter direction, just 2 spaces. So the absolute value of negative 2 is also positive 2, right here. Okay? So let's just practice these. My absolute value is equal to 5. So I write what's in the absolute value equal to 5, and I write the same thing equal to negative 5. So how do I get x by itself? Minus 17. Now over here, I have 5 minus 17. So x equals negative 12. Which, if I plug that in to the original equation, 17 minus 12 is 5, The absolute value of 5 is 5. Here, I get x equals negative 22. Again, though, if I plug those two numbers, if I plug that into the original equation, I get negative 22 plus 17 is negative 5. And the absolute value of negative 5 is positive 5. So my two answers are negative 12 and negative 22. Did I have a pencil?
No, I got one.
Okay, again, same thing. X minus 20 equals 12. X minus 20 equals negative 12. So, first up, add 20 across the board. Cancels. 12 minus 20, negative 8. Oh, sorry, that's 12 plus 20. Add 20, 12 plus 20, that's 32. My bad. That's sloppy. 32. If I checked it, and you know how I knew I was wrong? Because I mentally checked my answer. Negative 8 minus 20 does not give me 12. So I knew I made a mistake somewhere. It happens. But 32 minus 20, that's 12. So that's why you check your work. I'm teaching this and I just made a mistake. So if I'm teaching this and make a mistake, you learning it, you're going to make mistakes. That's okay. We learn from our mistakes. What we do is check our answers to make sure they're right. I check every one of my answers in my head because I'm human. Whether I know math or not, I make mistakes. So I check my work. Oh, I screwed up. Now here, I'm hoping I'm not going to mess up this time. 20 minus 12 is 8. If I plug that in, 8 minus 20 is negative 12, but the absolute value of negative 12 is positive 12. And so my two answers are 32 and 8. All right. All right. Okay, so 2x minus 3 equals 9. So we write 2x minus 3 equals 9, and 2x minus 3 equals negative 9. Now this one's a little different because now we have a two-step equation. Before we just had x minus something, x plus something. Now we have two steps. That's okay, we know how to do that. So we're going to add 3. And that gives me 2x equals, I don't know what I'm writing there, a blob. 2x equals 12. Now what do I do next? Very good. Divide by 2. X equals 6. Check it. 2 times 6 is 12. Minus 3 is 9. Absolute value 9 is 9. Good to go. Add 3. 2x equals 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Then I divide by 2. X equals negative 3. I'm going to check it. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 minus 3 is negative 9. The absolute value of negative 9 is positive 9. I'm good to go. So my answers are 6 and negative 3. Okay? 4 and 5 are pretty much the same thing, so let's skip that. If you need extra practice, they'll be there, but we have the practice sheets. I want to go over. Okay, so like I said, 4 and 5 are pretty much the same as 3. I think you got it down. Number 6 is a little bit different because of one thing. We'll see here in a little bit. So 5x minus 8 equals 8. 5 minus x equals 8. And 5 minus x equals negative 8. So what do we need to get rid of first? 5, very good. How do we get rid of it? Yeah, that's it. Minus 5. Minus 5, minus 5. Awesome. What did, now careful, careful, careful. What does that leave us on the left side? Excellent. It leaves us a negative x. Here's what people do all the time. Oh, x. You can't forget that negative. It's a minus 1x. Okay? You can't forget that. So equals 8 minus 5 is 3. Now, here's the thing about checking your work. Let's say you forgot to bring down the negative, right? Look up here, please. Let's say you forgot that negative. Okay? And you thought the answer was 3. Okay, that's fine. Check it. Plug the 3 in. 5 minus 3 is what? Oh, guys. 5 minus 3 is 2. Is the absolute value of 2 8? It is not. Is 2 8 spaces away from 0? It is not. So that tells you, I screwed up. I better go back and check my work. Oh, shoot. I forgot the negative. Now, how do I get rid of that negative? Can't add. Okay, no. Actually, you're right. You could add. You could add x and move it over here, right? But then what would you have to do with the 3? You have to subtract the 3 and move it over, right? So basically, you could have them switch places. And the x would become positive and 3 would become negative. So you can do that. It's a double switch. You go over here, you go over here. It's like if you're at home, you said your parents like your brother and your sister, you're switching rooms. Take all your stuff and move it. It'd be less work, okay, to just divide by -1. Not saying you can't do it, it just saves you a step. Because that -1, think about it. If that was -5x, what would you do? Divide by -5, right? Okay. People forget that 1's a number. It's really -1. So you just divide by a -1. And that cancels that, giving me x equals -3. Now if I plug that back in, 5 minus a -3 is really 5 plus 3, which is 8. Good to go. Okay, over here. Cancel. Don't forget that negative. Equals -13. Divide by -1. X equals +13. Check it. 5 minus 13 is -8. Absolute value of -8 is 8. -8 is 8 spaces away from 0. So my two answers are -3 and 13. Okay, if you remember on the first page of notes, let's go. I'm going to go back. Remember step 1 where it said get the absolute value by itself? All right? So get the absolute value by itself. We got to do that here. See how what's attached to the absolute value? No, what's attached to the absolute value? -1. Very good. How do we get rid of the -1? You add it. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Which means I have absolute value of x plus 7 equals 6. Now, this is no different than the first problems we did, is it? Okay. Now I can write two problems. But I can't stress this to you enough. You cannot bust it up until it's by itself. Okay, so like what I'm saying is you can't write x plus 7 minus 1 equals 5, x plus 7 minus 1 equals -5. You can't do that. You have to get it by itself first. I'm a little out of space here, so I'm going to write x equals -1. Check the work. 7 minus 1 is 6. Absolute value of 6 is 6. Minus 1 is 5. Good answer. Okay, over here, I'm going to subtract 7. X equals -13. Check my answer. -13 plus 7 is -6. The absolute value of -6 is 6. minus 1 is 5. Okay, is my absolute value number 2 alone? No, it's not. What's attached to it? How's the 4 attached? Multiplication. How do you undo multiplication? Division. Do you see these questions I'm asking you? These are the questions you should be asking yourself every time in your own head. This is how you know what to do. It's like a checklist. What do I need to have alone? The absolute value. Okay, so why would you distribute the 4? It's not parentheses. Parentheses is times, okay? But you can distribute through parentheses. You cannot distribute through an absolute value. Okay? Think of those as like prison bars. Okay? None's coming in, none's going out until you give permission. Okay? Nobody goes in. Okay, so that 4 is not allowed in. Okay, great question. So again, treat this like an equation and ask yourself every time, what do I need to have by itself? Usually in a regular equation, it's the variable. Okay. In this case, it's the absolute value. I need the absolute value by itself. Treat the absolute value as if it was one giant x. Okay? Imagine you just had this. 4x equals 28. Okay? Treat the absolute value as if it was a variable. Okay? Then, you'd say to yourself here, what do I need to do? Divide by 4. It's the same thing. I need to get the absolute value by itself, so I divide by 4. That leaves me x minus 8 equals 7. Do not just write x minus 8 equals 7. The absolute value bars are still there. Okay? It's a common mistake to just get rid of those absolute value bars. Now, is my absolute value alone? Good. Now you go back to the very beginning, early one, easy one. X minus 8 equals 7, and x minus 8 equals negative 7. Okay? I write what's inside the bars equal to the positive, the number, and equal to the negative version. Now, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Simple one-step equation. Cancel, x equals 15. I'm going to check my work. 15 minus 8 is 7. The absolute value of 7 is 7. Times 4 is 28. Good to go. So I know I have my first answer of 15. Okay, over here I'm going to add 8. Add 8. X equals 8 minus 7 is 1. Check it. 1 minus 8 is negative 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is positive 7. 7 times 4 is 28. I'm good to go. There's my second answer, 1. Now, putting 1 and 2 together. Woo! Remember, treat this as if it was just 4x minus 5 equals 11. Don't get freaked out by the absolute value. Just treat it like that. If I just gave you 4x minus 5 equals 11, what would you do first? Add 5 to both sides. Excellent. Then what would you do? Divide by 4. Great job. Okay? That's what you need to do, right? You take it step by step. The absolute value, this thing right here, is like a variable. I need to get that thing by itself. Just like over here, I need to get this thing by itself. It doesn't matter what the thing is. I need to get it by itself. I take the exact same steps. Okay? So what am I going to do here? Just what you guys already told me. I'm going to add 5. Now when I do that, does this change? No. Does this change? No. Everything's the same. Only thing that changed was I got rid of the 5. Now what am I going to do? Like you said, divide by 4. Divide by 4. Does that leave me 2x minus 6? No. It leaves me absolute value of 2x minus 6 equals 4. I made a perfect do that. Now, is my absolute value by itself? Yes, it is. I'm going to need this space right here. So I'm going to write small. But I do 2x minus 6 equals positive 4, just like that. And I write 2x minus 6 equals negative 4. And now I'm right back to the same kind of two-step equation I started with in the beginning as an example. What am I going to get rid of first? Add 6 to both sides. Excellent. Then I would divide by 2. You guys got it. So if I add, I'm going to skip steps just because I lost space. Add 6. 2x equals 10. 2x equals 6 minus 4 is 2. Now what am I going to do? Divide by 2. X equals 5. X equals 1. Are we done? No. Check it. You got it. Let's check the 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. The absolute value of 4 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 minus 5 is 11. Bingo! 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. But the absolute value of negative 4 is also 4. Times 4, 16 minus 5 is 11. Boom. Got it. Okay, number 4. What are we going to get rid of? Divide by negative 3. Very good. Now when I divide by negative 3, it goes away. I get my absolute value bars. 4x minus 5 equals negative 10. What do I do next? Is my absolute value alone? Yes, it is. So what do I do next? Nope. Why do I not make 2 problems right now? Excellent. Very good. No negative allowed. Right? It cannot. Can something be a negative distance from 0? Do we have a negative distance? No. I don't drive 7 miles to work and negative 7 miles home. I drive 7 miles to work, 7 miles home. Okay? If you run around a track, if you run a mile on the track, if you run the other direction, do you run a negative mile? No, you still ran a mile. It doesn't matter what direction you went. You're still running a distance, which is a positive number. So since this is a negative, there's no solution. Okay? No solution. We stop right here. I can't tell you how many times I see kids go, 4x minus 5 equals negative 10, 4x minus 5 equals positive 10. Nope, 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 nope. Don't do it. Go home. You're done. Okay, number 5. Can we stop? Excellent! See, once again, sometimes you learn a rule and you go, oh, you overuse the rule. And people go, hey, look, there's a negative. Woohoo! We're done. Stop. No solution. Not yet. You cannot make that decision until the absolute value is completely alone. Now, you said add 5. Okay, cool. Negative 2, x minus 3 equals, shoot, it's still negative. Can I go home now? No. No. I still have to divide by the negative 2. And what's going to happen when I divide by the negative 2? Very good. I end up with x minus 3 equals positive 2. So don't be in too big of a hurry to say no solution. If that was a negative 2 right now, stop. Okay? If this right here was a positive 2, and we divided negative 4 by positive 2 and got negative 2, we could stop. But we can't stop now because it is a positive number. So we do x minus 3 equals 2, x minus 3 equals negative 2. We're going to add 3 to both sides. 5 and 1. And
I just promise you they work out.
I'm getting through practice and more time to review.
Okay, number 6, real quickly. What do we do first?
That's right. You guys got this. Add 7, add 7. 3, absolute value of x equals 15. What do I do now? Divide by 3. You're going to love this problem. Absolute value of x equals 5. What do we do? X equals 5, x equals negative 5, we're done. There's nothing to move. It's just x equals 5, x equals negative 5. Those are the two numbers that are 5 spaces away from 0. Negative 5 and positive 5 are both 5 spaces away from 0.